Hey book friends, welcome to another Friday Reads where I just update you on all the books I'm currently reading. I feel like this format of video is just perfect for me and perfect for my live stage, and you guys seem to like it. So I'm really happy about that. So it's basically where I go through what I've read, what I'm currently reading, and what I plan to read. And so let's just hop in. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you've been coming for a while. So before I hop in to all of my book updates, I did want to give you a quick life update. And so this has kind of affected my book world, which is why I wanted to share. So we have COVID in our house. And so far it's not too bad. My kids have had it. My daughter had a really high fever, but with meds, she's been really good. And so it hasn't been too bad, other than the fact that we're on like quarantine, like we can't see anybody, we can't do anything, and that's totally fine. It just kind of messes with my schedule and kind of my normal book habits, but that's okay. I did get a lot read before this, so that's what I'm going to share with you today, and let's hop in. So as for what I finished, so when I was chatting with you guys a couple weeks ago, I was reading a couple different books. These were the ones I was reading. So I remember I shared about The Cabin with you guys. I was thinking about DNFing it. I DNF'd it. I didn't go any further. I just was not in the mood to read a romance book, and it just wasn't jiving with me. And I'm telling myself I don't have to finish books. I think I just get this idea that I'm going to miss something. But I DNF'd it. That's gone. I actually already gave it back to the library. That's how much I didn't like it. But to move on to the books that I did finish. So I did finish Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. Oh, this book, I don't even know kind of how to explain it. It is definitely a good thriller in the sense of there are twists and turns, there are unexpected things that happen, and it's a little bit mind-blowing when you realize what is actually going on and who these people actually are, sort of idea. And I don't want to give away too much, but I liked that part. Okay. So I liked that part. I would highly recommend this to anybody who really likes twisty thrillers, as well as anybody who likes psychological thrillers, because I just feel like that's more what this is. And I am learning that I don't really like psychological thrillers. I don't know. I've read a few. They're hit or miss. I like them if they are kind of like this, where they're really twisty and it's just got a really good plot. But like I was saying in my last video, I just didn't like her voice in my head. And that didn't change. It actually became more messed up. Let's be honest. If you've read this book, you understand what I mean. And so I ended up giving this 3 stars, mostly because of how good the twists and turns were, but only 3 stars because I just don't think I like psychological thrillers. So that's this book. It's a good lesson. I feel like I'm learning about how to choose my thrillers more precisely. So let's move on to this book. Oh my gosh, you guys, I loved this book. It caught me so off guard, so off guard. I just wasn't prepared for how much I would like this world, the pace of this world, the things that happened. I felt like Sarah J. Maas just did a really good job of keeping a really interesting plot line. Like there was definitely a decent amount of action, but it was interspersed with enough information to understand what was going on, which is nice. I don't always love books that have a ton of setup. It depends. Sometimes I do. But in books like this, it was nice to just really get into it and get into the characters. And the main character of Bryce, I just really liked. I liked how her character progressed and grew, and then you learned some stuff about her and you're like, what? So that was really entertaining. I would say probably my favorite part was the relationships. I liked Bryce and Hunt and her brother and her best friend Danica, all those things. I just really thought those were very realistic, and I was just rooting for their relationships, their friendships, or what have you. And so, gosh, I really liked it. I'm excited to pick up the second one. I'm hoping to pick it up. I requested it from the library. Not sure if I'll get it in February, probably more like March, because I'm like number 37 on the list of 20 books or something like that. So anyway, that's what I thought about that book. I loved it. 5 stars. Surprised me. Surprised me. So let's move on to what I am currently reading. Okay, this one. Guys, this book, I said that was what I was thinking I was going to pick up, and it was still very much calling to me when I finished the other books, and that's Ona Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. Guys, this book is so much fun. Like I said, I like books that kind of mess with time, and this is a very much not a science fiction book. This is very much a contemporary book about this woman as she struggles with her life where it is being led out of order. Like I was explaining in that other video, where she wakes up every New Year's in a different time, in a different year of her life. So on the inside, she can be like 23 years old, but on the outside, she's like 54 years old, for example. And then she just shifts around in time. So I'd say that is what I'm liking the most about this book, is just as she's learning things and as she's growing and as she is maturing as a person, with just this idea of like, it's hard to live this way. It's hard to have relationships. She has a struggling relationship with her mom, but yet that's one of the only relationships that's consistent. And it's just kind of heartbreaking in a way to think about living your life in that way, to leave the people you love, to land in a new world. Anyway, sorry, that was a kid interruption. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I don't know where it's gonna land. There's still some loose ends that I really hope the author wraps up, because I feel like this can be really clever if it's ended well. So far, I feel like it's definitely a 4-star read for me. I'm really liking it. I just don't know how it's going to end. So, Ona Out of Order. I'm really liking it. I'm kind of surprised. Okay, so the next book I picked up is for a reading vlog that I'm doing, which I have decided not to stress myself out about stuff like this, because it's just a really fun vlog that I have going, and you'll see it eventually when I finish it. But this is one of the books that's part of that. And this is also on one of my lists, my favorite booktubers' favorite books list. That's what it's on. And it's Amari and the Night Brothers. It's a middle grade fantasy book, and I am this far, 110 pages in. Guys, it's so cute. It's so cute, and it totally feels like Nevermore. Has anybody read this? Does anybody feel that way? Because I'm definitely in the part where she is starting out at this academy, the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, and she's just kind of at the beginning. And she's like going through the initial ceremony and getting placed into different things, which was very interesting. I found that really fun. But yet her underlying mission is to figure out about her brother, like at all costs. So I really like the character of Amari. I feel like that's probably my favorite part of this book so far. I feel like she's really realistic. I feel like she is realistically 12 years old or whatever she is. I forget how old she is, because she's just like so focused on what she wants, and she is not very good at seeing like the consequences of her actions, and she's not very good at like thinking through what she's doing or things like that. And so I feel like it's well written to that teenager, pre-teenager kind of time in life. And so I think that's good, because I often don't like middle grade or young adult where the character is supposed to be young but is acting old, and she's not. I don't think that at all. But I feel like it is a really fun world that I'm enjoying. Like, it totally has Nevermore, Harry Potter vibes, where you have this academy school where they need to learn some stuff, and they're getting tested, and they have like final trials and things like that. And so I love that. I just love that in my books. And so if anybody knows of any more kind of like that, I think I'm just totally sold on that storyline in my middle grade books. This reads so fast, which is also really nice in this current season of like COVID, which is kind of stressful. When I'm feeling stressed, I want just easy reads, and this has been perfect. And so is Ona Out of Order. I don't feel like that's too crazy emotional. It is a little bit, but it's not like tragic in the sense of like the next book I'm going to share with you. So the next book I am reading is this one. I picked up the Book of Lost Names by Kristen Harmel, which I've been wanting to pick up some Kristen Harmel books. This is a book that I picked for the Hello 2022 readathon that I'm participating in this week. I'm not the best at participating in readathons, but I love supporting other YouTubers. I love getting prompts to pick different books. And so this one I picked, and it's really good so far. I'm also about 100 pages into it, and I'm enjoying it. So this is a story about a family, a Jewish family in Paris, right before kind of they start rounding up the Jews. And this woman and her mother flee the city after her father has been captured by the Nazis, sort of idea. And they flee to like a mountain town, and then they start, or she especially, the daughter starts getting involved in this like underground forgery kind of setup. And that's about how far I've made it. And I'm drawn into the characters. I like both the mother and the daughter. I think they're being true to kind of the role they would play as, where the mother is very focused on rescuing the father. And definitely the daughter is too, but she is a little more like wanting to protect her mom as well, which is what her dad asked her to do. And so that part's really good. I honestly did get a little bit of Nightingale vibes. So what I mean by that is in the Nightingale, the story is told kind of from the future where there's an old lady and her son. And you don't really know much about them, and you don't know which character she is, sort of idea. And they're telling the story backwards, right? And that's happening in this book as well. That the woman, the daughter, Eva, actually is an old woman at the beginning. And some of the books that she was a part of when she was helping out with the forgeries surface later in life. And she wants to go back and claim the books and claim that part of her past. That is very much kind of that Nightingale flavor, but totally different in the same way. Like, we're not following someone that is oppressed by the Nazis like we were in the Nightingale. This is more they escaped, and I'm just not sure how well they're going to stay away from that kind of stuff. I hope so, because I do like their characters and I am invested. So I'm enjoying this so far. It's been a really quick first 100 pages, so I'm looking forward to finishing it for sure. So those are really the 3 books I have going. And I'm actually listening to both Ona Out of Order as well as Amari off and on. I'm kind of reading and listening at the same time, but those are the 2 audiobooks I'm listening to. So as for what's coming next, I feel like that's a pretty good stack, and I'm only 100 pages into 2 of those books. I feel like I'll finish Ona soon, but the other ones will take me a little bit, so I'm not sure what I'm going to pick up next. One thing that I think I might pick up, just because, like I said, I'm in a little bit of a stressful season, and so a good, easy book is one I've already read about half of it. So Scythe, that's the one I'm thinking about picking up. And I talked about this in my Hello 2022 TBR, where I have started half of it. I have forgotten, but it read really quickly. It's a YA fantasy book, dystopian, kind of this idea that the world has figured out how to combat and defeat death. And since they've defeated death, they have to have ways to combat the population, and they use scythes to do that. And there's these 2 teenagers who are training to be scythes. I read about half of it like 2 years ago, so I think I could easily hop back into this story, and that feels like something I want to read right now. So this is kind of my next up sort of book. So anyway, yeah, that is what's going on in my life. A little bit of COVID, a lot of books, but a lot of the books I'm liking. Like I said, The Cabin was really the only one that was not worth my time, but everything else has been really, really good. So that's really fun. Let me know down below. What are you guys reading? Are you liking it? Have you read any of these? I always love to hear your guys' thoughts on the books I'm reading. But otherwise, that is what I have for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and otherwise, I will see you in the next book video. Okay, guys, talk to you later.